Well, this here is a feller's 1983 Chevrolet Custom Deluxe 3/4 ton flavor pick-em-up truck. I've had it for pretty near a year or two. Probably going on 2, actually. I bought it sight unseen, and it's been a farm truck or a service truck all its life, and that's how I found it. Service configuration. It's probably got 500,000 miles on it, maybe more. Guy got her fired up, got her home, and we cleaned on it and threw some tractor paint, pinstriping, painted the doors, put an exhaust system, brakes, front to rear, tires, wheels, dolled up the engine a little bit. And I have been using the snot out of this thing. I've been running her hard and not towards water. You know what I mean? The amount of fertilizer and seed and hay and tires and trash and trailers that this thing has pulled and hauled, couldn't even begin to tell you. And all it's asked from me is a little bit of gasoline and a sip of Earl here and there. And I think, since it's obviously a solid rig and I'm going to hang on to the thing, it's time to take it a step farther and give her another makeover, but this time in the interior department mainly. Tired of sitting on a computer seat back and some sort of weird foam out of a combine or something. Not much seat left, there's no floors, nothing works. You know, farm rate. Well, let's stall it up, bring it around, and I have found and acquired one of the most classic wheels you will ever see. You've probably never seen them actually, but I'm going to show you. They started out in the late 60s, kind of got popular in the 70s. I found a set, got it powder coated. We are going to change the wheels on this, and I'll explain why, because these turbines are really good, but they're also not. Anywho's, let's dig in. Makeover part 2, this thing is going to be a going to bingo rig or going to the co-op. Depends on where you're taking it, I guess. Well, I do apologize about the noise. That's the old diesel heater running back here. Trying to live, I guess. Winter has hit here in the south. So let's take a look at this interior here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. The panels are deteriorated. The seat is completely gone. And we're going to refresh this thing, but we're not just going to throw a parts cannon at it. We're going to try to save some money here and do. We're going to recover our own seat first and foremost with just some material. We're going to put the vinyl floor back in it, no carpet. This is a work truck. Put some vinyl flooring in it. I did pick up a new dash. I did splurge on that. Got some El Cheapo door panels we'll throw on this thing, and it's going to look like a new cab. And then we're going to finish it off with those wheels I was talking about. And the reason for that is these old turbines here, a quick story. Amazing wheel. Got it from my buddy, and he had the violent shake between 50 and 65 somewhere in there, and tried to balance them and this and that, and we chalked it up to bad tires, old tires. Well, we did some horse trade, and I ended up with these wheels, got them on the new tires here, which these are I think they're Intercos. They're nice tires, and I can't get them balanced. I'm having the same issue. It feels like a Dodge pickup. You know, 1950 to 2024, in that range, they just death wobble. And I've tried weights and beads and doodads and tapes and stick-a-bonds and praying and witchcraft, and I can't get them to balance. They look great, not so good going down the highway, so unfortunately, these got to go on a rig that doesn't hit the highway, or we got to put them up on the shelf. And that is why we're going to be changing the wheels here at the end. But let's start off by looking at the interior, then we got to dig in, start completely disassembling this thing and build it back better. Guy's got this big leg burner running, trying to get some pliability back in the vinyl floor. We'll eventually be putting this in, but it was like 10 degrees last night. This was just a big chunk of ice. It's slowly getting there, but still really not that pliable. Hopefully that'll get better with time. Quick overview if you're unfamiliar with this rig. It's a 1983 3/4 ton two-wheel drive. It's got a 350 in it and a 4-speed. And like I say, it's got to have a $500,000. This is cheap tractor paint right out of the tractor store. I think it was like 40 bucks or something. I can't remember, 60 bucks. And my friend lettered it, and that's just El Cheapo pinstriping from O'Reilly. Did do some rust repair front or behind the wheels. That's all new metal. Did add a tailgate. That was missing. But it's a pretty solid rig. But here's the issue. The interior is just hammered. I mean, gone. This is like a computer seat back or something. I don't even know. Foam is shot. There was a bunch of sweatshirts stacked up in here, but it's on the springs. There's no more going down. It's had 1 million seat covers. I mean, I just backed this in. This is how this truck operates. Drill bits. What do we got here? Well, that's my baler manual, work gloves. It's got tools, hitches, you name it, coffee cups. But I think we can make this a lot more comfortable, better looking, but still be functional as a work truck. You know, the vinyl floor, basic door panels, nothing fancy here with trim or anything like that. Recover the seat ourselves, we can save a bunch of money there. And we'll refoam it as well. And we won't have a bunch of money in it, so we're not going to feel bad if it gets grease on it or whatever. But right now I've got to reset this pad, pull this over like that every time I try to slide in. It doesn't have tilt, so for a guy to get his belly under here, you know, it's a big operation. Let's put it that way. It's a non-AC work truck. You know, it's just a custom deluxe. So base model. Original Raggio in it. Don't work. I think this is the old compressor. There used to be a compressor under the hood ran by the engine, but that's been deleted. I should show you the engine because that's been updated a little bit. So under here's been cleaned up quite a bit. There used to be a gigantic compressor hanging off over here and a bunch of air lines and stuff like that. All that's been deleted. It's got new fuel lines in it, ignition, lots of rattle can rebuilding. Just simplified it. It's just a basic stock 350. New brake master cylinder, front lines, calipers, pads, drums, shoes, all that stuff. Stops great. Heater works great. But that's really it. Good enough. We don't have to do anything here. It works, it starts, it runs. It's eventually going to need some valve seals, and I think I got a little bit of an intake leak. But we'll deal with that down the road. Well, the guys walked around procrastinating as enough as I could. It's time to tear out this whole interior. Probably start with the seat. Get that out of the way. There ain't no vinyl left. Get the sill plates out. Then we'll probably start tearing into the dash. We're going to replace that whole dash piece. This one isn't terrible. I've seen worse. In fact, this one's going to go right on the parts shelf. I've got trucks with no dash, literally. So this will be a good fit somewhere. Get the door panels off. Basically get this whole thing stripped down to bare metal. We'll see if we got to do any repairs, rust treating, painting, all of that stuff. And then start putting this thing back together. It's going to look great when we're finished. What kind of voltage we got? Ooh, we got a fire extinguisher. Empty. Yeah, you want to carry them around. Well, empty, better fuel mileage, weight reduction. Let's talk about this for a minute. Well, we're pawing our way through it. Got the seat out. Looks in pretty good shape. Got one wire broken there. Got to tighten up this. This is the cable that runs the slider. Wasn't sliding very good. Anyway, the great news, the floors look surprisingly fantastic. I got to get the sill plates off yet, but it doesn't look like a speck of rust in this entire truck. I take that back. I'm eyeballing a little bit there maybe. I'm sure this is just sat full of dirt and mud and everything else, but let's keep digging. We got to get these door panels off yet, hopefully, which means we're going to be stripping screws and struggling to get the armrests out. I'll probably use a blasted brake cleaner or carb cleaner in these screws, and that cleans out, you know, the provision to actually get your bit or whatever you want in there. And then we just got the ones along the bottom. Pretty straightforward to get these old door panels off. There's a tool that makes it handy getting the handles out. But we'll keep on rocking. Of course, as usual, had to fight to get the seat belt, you know, whatever they are, T7000s out. I like to seat them with a hammer. Seat them, and then pull them. But great news, I was kind of expecting to see a bunch of rust in here. This is manageable, for sure. Well, the guy's digging away. We got her pretty well stripped down where we need it, and I was starting to think we might get away without having to fix anything. Look at this side. Absolutely gorgeous. Just needs cleaned up a little bit more, but I was digging and poking and prodding. I got to get the wire wheel in there and stuff like that. Pulled up the rubber membrane in a couple spots just to make sure it wasn't rusting. The drinker side over here looks absolutely perfect. However, I did find a couple boo-boos over there on the captain side. Guy could snag in a license plate really quick. You've seen me do that a million times, but this is such a solid rig. I just don't think that I can get away with doing that. You know what I mean? So here's what we got going on. This is pretty typical. There's this channel in here for the weather stripping. And most commonly, dirt and, well, all this stuff, debris and whatnot, gets down in there and just sits, and it doesn't get cleaned out and ends up rusting just like this one. And we've got a little hole back here as well, kind of where the heel is and where the floor seam meets the kicker panel. So I'm going to continue to clean this up. This is a flap disc, a wire wheel. I've been kind of punching with this, trying to find what's solid and what's not. Really hard to weld in here, almost impossible. May use some rivets, not quite sure, but we'll end up using seam sealer to finish it off so it's nice and sealed and doesn't do that again, hopefully for a while anyway, for Pete's sake. Well, guys, got this area pretty well cleaned out. Well, as best as I can anyway, with scrapers, some wire brushes by hand, got the cheek poker and the drill, flap discaroonies, pretty much it all. And this isn't going to be a perfect repair, but if we can get this truck down the road and slow this process up and not have a giant ankle vent, that's what we're going for. We got to treat the rust that's here before we go any farther. I'm just using this, you know, the old rust fix in a can. New metal, brand new metal, welding. And this mister on, there we go, tack weld, new floor pan. And this is gonna slow down this rust a little bit. Once that dries, turns to black. I gotta get some sort of primer or something in here. Doesn't matter, anything. This is a rust barrier, galvanize. It's a DTM or direct to metal, so it's made specifically to paint over bare metal. So once that dries, I'm gonna bury this in, then we can start figuring out what we're gonna do for actual patches in here. License plate, we'd be done. I know. But for Pete's sake, a guy's gotta keep the going the tavern truck going the tavern. That good. Hello. Okay, that's looking real good there. Just gonna bring some primer in. Just a little bit over here. Bring it back here, draw it back in here. We got some stuff going on. I don't want to get that. Move up in there. Bring it around. Just bring it back here. Nice and thick right there. There we go. Weird texture kind of paint. Oh, what? Ultra flat? I don't know, never used this stuff. Just trying to get all the bare metal and everything we just treated. Okay, good. Well, that primer's cooking in there. We got some work to do. We got to cut out our patch panels. Boom, done. And I've decided to go ahead and pop rivet these because my welder built tanks in the 40s. I don't have the right size wire, and we're just going to blow softball size holes in the floor. And we'll be chasing that all night. So we got to cut out our panels, get the shape that we need. We also need to primer one side because we don't want to sandwich bare metal and rust. We need to remove, treat, prep, prime, seal, secure. Okay? This one has got to go into the finger bender because we need to make a channel in here to fit where that weather stripping snips in around there and snags when the door snips. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's go lose a digit or two, throw it over on the brake, see if we can on this. Well, the only time I've ever used this tool is in the completely wrong application. Is that a new Futura? It is. I was looking for you, you little stinker. Anyway, making extension cord repairs and also making some fishing lure. You know, I'm not using it correctly. Anyway, we got to make the first bend, which is going to be the channel on the bottom. And like I just mentioned, this is all bent up and wrong, so that's pretty good. Oh, I think I just broke my chair. Oh, I just broke my sign. Everything's fine. This is too far against the wall. There we go. I'll be coming here though. There's the sheet of metal I needed 20 minutes ago. That looks pretty good. Got our bend. Easy as that. We need one more though. I gotta get it measured. Guys got her tamped in there. Had to use the punch and a hammer and seat it. I made her pretty tight so it bites in, you know. Now I just scribed a line in there, and that's going to be our next bend this way, which I'll forget and I'll bend it the wrong way, and then we'll cut out this piece again and then bend it correctly. Okay. Sure got the hang of this machine now. Nope, this is a terrible idea. How do you... Okay, if I gotta go up. Oh, was I supposed to bend that one first? Bet you I was. Uh-oh. Well, let's just crush the other bend. What is this? Transmission something? All right, pay attention. Are we ready? Well, by golly. I think that looks like the drain channel in a custom deluxe 3/4 ton flavor truck. So here's our first patch. Pretty nice fit. And of course we could tickle on that a little bit with the old Tanya Harding here. But I'm going to leave that in place. Now we need one that kicks up like this. And we're gonna have a little bit of a at the end there. Have to figure that out. I've already got this one cut, and then we'll have a little wraparound piece here as well. So the original channel there has a little ramp to it, kind of comes up. So we had to do that on this one, of course. And just cut a slit in it, brought it forward, and that way when that sits in this channel, like that, it's going to meet this other piece, and we can seam seal all the way around that. It's not going to leak, and we're not going to have any actual hole in the floor. Okay, so we got a hole drilled here through our panel, patch panel in the floor, and I'm just going to anchor it with the rivet. Now I can actually take my seam sealer, and I'm going to goop up the bottom edge, which is this side of this patch, all the way around. So when I sandwich this in, boop, it's going to create a seal all the way around this thing. And in fact, I think I'm going to cut a little bit more out of here so we have fresh metal. Primer that again first, and then we'll go ahead and start riveting these patch panels in all in the same fashion. A little tedious, a little slow, but riveting is going to save us a lot of time, and we're going to be sure to get nice fresh bite and the good metal, so that patch ain't going nowhere. Okay, floors are all patched up and looking good. Haunted house store, huh? Anyway, this seam sealer here, don't worry about it looking pretty, guys, okay? We just want to seal all this stuff in here, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like. Some of the stuff done at the factory would just blow your mind. Well, just look. Globs, there's a big glob there. You know what I mean? It's just wipe it on quick, get it done. The whole point of this is just to prevent moisture intrusion, water intrusion, stuff like that. This is going to work just fine. I need to rust treat a couple more spots here, let all of this dry, and then the final step would be to come in and a little bit, not a lot, maybe over here. Some rubber undercoating, nice thick layer on both sides, and then we're going to have to wait quite a while for that to dry. That stuff takes forever. Both floors coated up really quick. No secret to that stuff. Just really get her in there, you know, soak it up. And that's going to help again with waterproofing and also a little bit of sound deadening. I don't know, it's this stuff right here, sound eliminator. It's good for wheel wells, firewalls, floors, stuff like that, trunks. Just a cheap, easy way, and it's got a nice, thick, wide blast radius as well. Guy had to change shirts to go into town one instead of going to work. Got seam sealer all over my arm there. Wasn't expecting to patch metal today, but we got to get her done. It's a solid rig, but any day patching an old rig is a good day. But unfortunately, all days come to an end, and this one has. It is late. Gonna catch some Z's, clean up a little bit tomorrow. That rubber undercoating should be dry, the seam sealer we put in, everything like that, and we can crawl forward, thinking about maybe sanding the bottom doors and the dash and painting them. I don't know. Just put it out there, bleep bloop it, leave it, paint it. Either way, we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Guys got the heat just a ripping. Painted this late last night, right before I came in. I missed a spot. I can't find my can. It's trim black by SEM or S-E-M. Anyways, the guy needs his daily driver back. Confused. I don't know what to do with my hands and my feet. Let's get this truck finished. I decided to go ahead and paint the inside of the cabin. Oh, well, not really paint. Rebuild. The easy, fast way, but there's a couple things we got to do first before we get some wet paint in there. Let's go check it out. Wow, it's getting hot in here quick. Guy wants to clean this dash up, but we got to get this done before we get wet paint here, because all the dirt and dust. And I've grabbed the wrong instrument. What is going on here? This is the one I need. There we go. Door's still haunted. So I'm actually going to clean and polish this lens. If you just go to scrubbing on them, you leave a bunch of swirls in them, which is really common in these old trucks. There we go. So we need this piece. The surround can go on the sink with some hot soap. That's never been off. It's still got the cluster tag on it. You know, the QDB. Now, we got a busted needle in here, but the rest of them I do want to take off. Let's see. I'll be right back with a special tool. Got my needle remover 500 here. Some people call it a fork. Boop. So, what we're going to do is just gently guide this behind the needle and pry and jiggle gently, real gently. And if they're discolored, they're going to be powdery. Okay, speedometer's off. Fuel. Going for fuel here. Gotta get under that pin. There we go. Boom. The other ones have already disintegrated on their own. This stuff here, we can clean up in the truck now. We can get behind the needles. All of that. I'm gonna do that fast with just some Windex. And then we got to get the sand in. Fun. Go. I'm going to let these cook a little bit. Got my water back. Had to run a heater. Unseasonably cold. Well, not really. Should say 'tis the season for cold. Boom. Fluorescent. Since I've already got amp, oil, and temp on the 3-gauge pod, the other ones don't work. These are the only 2 needles I'm actually going to paint and put back. The other ones were in terrible shape. One was already broken, one's about to break. But this will clean it up and make it look a lot better. It's just some old rebuild in a can. So on the doors here, we're really only going to be focusing on the bottom of the doors, or what you see when you close the door when you're in the inside. It may be up this ridge a little bit, but we don't want to get carried away, and we're not going to tape it to the edge and do anything like that. We're just going to be fogging in some spray paint. That being said, look at this from my cowboy boots swinging out the side. I can, first of all, grease that hinge. We'll wait on that. I'm going to run 400 grit over the bottom of the door. I'm also going to do the same on the dash, because it is in rough shape. Just 400 grit, nothing special, nothing fancy. Just try to knock down some of the heavier ridges. Great time to fix up the bulbs here. So obviously we're not going to be using these gauges, so I took the bulbs that were working, moved them over to here so we could see the speedometer and the fuel, and also got the blinker indicators all dialed in. So now I can put it all back together and we can see what's going on. Guys got her sanded, I mean, decently-ish. And again, this is a refurb, not a restoration, so a guy's gotta bring it back down on your brainstem every now and then. We're not going all the way in, so obviously we would strip all the glass out and, you know, there'd be a lot more to do. This is just a spiff up. We're putting lipstick on a pig, okay? Some of the areas I sanded it out a little bit farther just because it would be really obvious. Getting through here with some glass cleaner and a soft rag, trying to get all the loose dirt and stuff knocked out of here. So when we start spray bombing, not that it really matters that much, but the dirt isn't going to get knocked into that fresh paint. I'm going to tape off maybe the kick panels ish, a couple strips of tape, and then primer. Let that dry, and then we'll get some color on. I'm going to try something different for the paint this time. Sure, I mean, I just hung tape in places to say that we did that. Okay, she's taped up real good now. Let's paint. Okay, we'll shoot some primer in here. Just kind of one medium heavy coat. Even the stuff out and give some adhesions where we got some bare metal and whatnot in here. The door sills I will probably do last because we're going to undoubtedly scratch those up, pushing the furniture back in. So just getting the doors and the dash for now. And then we'll swing back around and revisit on it. Good enough. This door. Yeah! Good enough for who it's for. Ready to throw some color down. And I'm going to be using just Rust-Oleum, but this is appliance epoxy. It's an enamel paint, but this is ultra hard. And it's supposed to leave a nice smooth finish as well. And I'm hoping that that'll help with the boots knocking on the door here and not take the paint off so easily. It's white, good enough. Gonna do a light coat, and then we'll come back over. Oh, splattering already. Great. Rust-Oleum just doing what it does best. Wow, that messed that door up pretty good. Oh well. There we go. Let that sit. Boy, it's too bad about those splatters. Gonna do the same on the dash, just a little mist. And then we'll come back and really sink her in, you know. Yeah. Yeah. That's more gooder. Okay, over here. Brought that primer up a little bit. Try to fade this door in. That. Ah, splattering again. Come on. Well, it does really let you just sink it in though. Seems to hang on. The appliance epoxy. Appliance epoxy dash. Only in 1983. Let that sit and eat. Eat! Well, guys, got the captain side door done, I think. Gotta let it just sit. I'm gonna crawl in and try to carefully get the dash and the other door over there. One heavy coat after this little light coat we put on, and then see what it looks like. Tell you what, if you got a white or a black dash, this might be the way to go. The old appliance epoxy. I am pretty tickled with how this is turning out. It's leveling really good. I think that's the big difference to a traditional spray enamel. Wow. Look at that. Looks great. Okay. Knock this door out quick, and I think we're going to leave it. We got a little bit of a sag going on the dash. Got her in a little heavy, I think, but that's all right. We ain't taking it to Pebble Beach for Pete's sake. We're taking it to bingo, all right? Yes, sir. And ma'am. Ha ha! Battle can restoration. Do, 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 do. Got a little heavy there. Might have to hang that puppy all the way to the ground. That's pretty good. Pretty good. No reason to do this other than make it look clean and get overspray on the glass. Oh, got all the paperwork. Sorry about that. Oh. Bam. Well, the dash looks fantastic. And the doors, brand new. But we got to let this dry, obviously. And there's one more thing I got to do that also has to dry, and that's monkey around with the steering wheel. So let's get that figured out so all this can be drying at the same time. Guy does like a classic wheel, but this one's gummy, greasy. The horn button is broken. It's just laying in there right now. And they're a larger radius. They're fairly large. Welcome to Derek's non-fictional storytelling time. You know, there's a few things that GM just nailed with the square body truck here. One of them is the reliability, / parts interchangeability. A feller could drive one of these rigs, well, the world. You find parts anywhere. 2 is the heater. Satan himself designed this thing. I'm not even sure where the technology originated from, probably back in the pyramid days or something. Solar, there's some sort of planetary star alignment thing going. I've seen carpet melt, is what I'm saying. It will run you out of any square body, even on low. And 3rd is the power steering. Again, you want to hit either ditch, boop, boop, just like that. And one of the ways that GM did that was, well, obviously the pump and the gearbox and the gear ratio in the gearbox, but they retained a larger go left, go right steering mechanism, kind of like they had in the 50s. They used it for leverage and radius. Because of the circumference, you only had to turn it a little bit to actually get the vehicle to turn a lot. Well, it's kind of the same with these big trucks. They got a fairly large wheel. That being said, when you don't have tilt, it's kind of inconvenient. If you're big vertically, horizontally, or maybe both, I don't know. But you got to really just kind of get under there. You see what I'm saying? Under there. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. So if we're going to fix this wheel, I'm going to go with a little bit smaller of a wheel. I only got 3 in stock. They're all pretty similar. Here's what I got. It's not my first choice, but I love these wheels. What are they called? Classic series. I've got these on a lot of trucks. In fact, the crew cab has one. It's a 15-inch, so you can see right away this is, I can run a tape measure on the other one, but it's smaller. It leaves you a little more room for the belly and slide in and out. What I don't like about this is it's wood grain. There's no other wood in the truck, like a Cheyenne or a Silver Rattle. But I got an idea we're gonna try. Maybe change this up a scoosh to match the rig, and that's where, long story long, this is gonna have to dry. So I've got some wood stain here called Phantom Gray. I was actually trying to find black, believe it or not, and my Hardmore store did not have that. So we're gonna go with Phantom Gray. And what I wanna do here is take some of these higher or lighter tones in this wheel, yeah, and darken them up like that. Give them a gray. I was hoping for black again, but gray will work. And this will end up matching the dash plastic that's going to be going across there in a little while, and just the interior overall. But this is going to have to sit for a couple hours after I get it all smeared up. Oh, that looks cool. Look at that. It's going to look great. Very unique. Guy got his needles put back in. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble the whole dash before we start with anything else. Just got some more arbo room and whatnot. Got to clean this up a little bit more. Of course, I soaked them in the sink there, but I think some Windex might get that dirt off. But this is my big project. This is the manual delete tape, right from the factory. But see all this crud and gunk on here? It's stuck. And we're gonna try to use some polishing cream and a buffer and try to get these lenses looking nice and clear again. They get these swirl marks in here, you know, in the winter people grab their mitts or their shirts and just wipe them out like this, while all they're doing is just grinding the dirt into the lenses. And they end up looking like this after, math, 50 years? 50 some years. Also, I found these. They're not getting any cheaper. Brand new pack. It's gonna be a good day. Such a mess. Ain't got time for none of this. There we go. Let there be light. Organized. So I'm going to use a perfection pad with their perfection cream. It's for refining and enhancing gloss. I don't know, I'm just reading the bottle. So I think that's what we need, right? Throw this on here. Just a little bit of juice. And we'll try one side, see what it does. If it looks like it's doing something, we'll just keep on rolling. This is going to be the hard part. Turn this down a little bit. Need a rag. Quite the difference. Before, after. So definitely worth the, whatever that was, 30 seconds. I'm just gonna keep on rolling. Like Fred Durst said one time. What's he doing now? Wearing weird hats? Okay. All right, let's keep getting this clean. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a whole lot better. You could buy these, you know, repops, but we got it. Let's go on this side too. There we go. Clean this up, get her put back in. There, for a very minimal effort, we have a really nice set of gauges. It does look silly without the needles over here, but they're all broken. And those don't work anyway. I use the ones hanging down there. Maybe someday, guy can come back. I got a pile of needles in a little box somewhere, but I don't know where at the second. I'm gonna bolt this up, and I think we're gonna put on our new dash. Start there, and then we could put the bezel in. Got some stuff to do there. Pretty much get this 100%. Then we can start working on the floor, reupholstering the seat, and finishing up these doors. So this is the dash out of the rig, obviously. It's not terrible. Got the typical cracking around the speaker later hole. but it's not coming down the front. This one has had 50 gallons of coffee. See, this is the coffee cup holder. Just spilt and smeared everywhere. I don't know what that is, chew spit or something. It could be cleaned up though. I was looking forward to replacing this as a whole because I have another truck that needs a dash, this whole piece. And I was gonna put a better one in this truck and then take this one and reuse it in that truck. But the dash that showed up, I don't know what happened, it's the wrong year. I'll show you in a second. Now, there's some carpet stuff you could put on these. Looks pretty snazzy, I like it, it's cozy. They also make an ABS cap that could snap over these. Or you just clean it up and ignore it. And I think that's what we're gonna do. This is the one I ordered. They did a great job, but it's for the wrong year. This is the old slanted dash. That's earlier. So I do have a truck, several trucks, that this can go in. No harm, no foul. We'll set that aside and we'll just clean up the one we have for Remington. Well, a guy did just go on right ahead and order one of them carpet doodabbers. Goodness gracious, I didn't know you could get suede now and velour and camo and all sorts of stuff. I just want brown. Anywho's, we'll clean her up for now. I don't think that's gonna get here in time, but that's the plan when that shows up. They're just Velcro stickies. You stick on your dash, throw that carpet up here and bam! Cowboy Cadillac mode. Ooh, I should clean up my VIN a little bit too while this dash is off. Guys getting so many square bodies, you gotta look at the VIN number first before you get in these things. You know, checking on LPs on the back and all that stuff. Yeah, this is cleaning up pretty good actually. I just gotta stop spilling coffee on it. Guy's coming right back in, hot. Going hot, me too. Still just me. Jessica's gonna try to come out though and recover that seat for me. Look at that, slides right in, almost like it just came right out of here. Boom. Boy, the white paint really makes a difference once you get a dash in there, even the clean bezel, or the plastic, you know, you know what I'm talking about. The Bezel is next. Anywho's, I gotta put, there's a screw here, there's 4 down yonder. This thing's pretty much bolted in. Then we'll start working on the bezel. Yeah, old Vinyl Richie over there was getting cold. You know, the vinyl floor. It's getting harder than the intro of Master of Puppets, so threw some heat on her. While that's cooking, we're gonna work on our Bezel. We scrubbed this down. Cleaned it, treated it, prepped it, painted it, and this is what we got now. However, we're not done. These came from the factory with chrome or silverish rings around there. And I'm going to do my own. It's not going to be perfect. We ain't running this to Pebble Beach again. You know what I mean? But can a guy just peek in after he stumbles out of the tavern and, you get a new Bezel? And they, no, Robbie, I just painted it. He won't believe you, but it's worth the conversation. I got some chrome spray paint here. We're gonna dump some of this right in the cap. Just like that. Take a little model brush. And I'm just gonna go around the edges here and paint this. It's gonna take some time. And I would do it early in the morning before the shakes get to you. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get that edge or that ring completed here. One at a time. I'll update you when I'm done. If you want it to look you can actually make these look nice. I've done it a few times, but it takes 2 to 3 coats. So you gotta have a whole lot of patience. But in the end, you're saving a few $100, not buying a repot or wasting this one. There is one ring done. So I'll keep on cooking. You know where to find me, right here. Well, the bezel is done. Looks pretty sharp, I gotta admit it. It's gotta dry though. Let this sit here for a few minutes and then we'll bolt her up.
While Derek is working on the new rubber floor in the truck, I'm going to start working on the seat, and this time we're going to refoam it and recover it. This should be dry enough to snag back in. It's kind of a dance that goes with these. It starts with the headlight button, or lever, I guess. And then the storage compartment. Well, this one just wants to fight. Should have set this in here loosely before I put the dash pad on. Ha ha ha! Had a guy been thinking. That's okay. I've been here before. Long screws in the corners. Get us going. Wow, that looks good. One of my favorite things about this truck is the dash isn't all cut up for a Raggio. I can certainly appreciate that a lot. Bottom color. Alright, give me a few more minutes. Got to put the radio knobs on, stuff like that. We'll have a dash again. That looks sharp. Just some elbow grease. I got the radio knobs soaking in the sink, gonna clean them up. Okay, let's move on to the floor. It doesn't have a provision for the shifter, so that's gonna be the more difficult part, is trying to form it in here. It's really cold, it's solid, and then make some cuts for the shifter, hopefully one and it's right. And then we got to lay some insulation in here, and Jessica's working away on the seat over there. There's 54 million hog rings in that for some reason. Original stuff. But we're getting there. Whew! That was a chore getting this in here. Of course, it's pretty much rock solid. You're supposed to let these, come up to room temperature, but it's 5 degrees outside this morning, so that ain't happening. What I'm going to do now is, because I tell you not to, use this here and just heat it and start contouring it like I have here around, I guess the easiest way to start is just around the seat humps, just like with carpet, and then I'm going to work my way forward We've got one shot to cut that shifter in right. So that'll be a little nerve-wracking, but this is just going to be a lot of heating, molding, pressing, you name it. Once we get the shifter cut, we'll have to come back and worry about our seat holes and stuff like that. And obviously we got to trim it for the sill plates. But I wanted to do a rubber floor back in here. It's a work truck, and sometimes these just look better than carpet. It's got it contoured all good. The Jackhawk 9000 knife has been actually really handy. Got the ring in for the shifter, went ahead and painted that up really quick with some rebuild black. Now I'm on the side here and I found it's a lot handier to heat it up, and then a rasier blade just like butter. So trimming the edges up, I'm going to get this sill plate on first. I can contour everything back over, and then we'll end up doing that side over there. Oh, there's Theodore coming to check on progress. Hey, bud. That side over there is pretty well whipped up, so I'm locating the seat holes over here real quick, which I failed to do over there, but no biggie, we'll figure it out. Same method, but it's a little bit different than carpet because you can't peel it all the way back to here and locate it. But I'm just using a pick or a point, and you can see seat bolt, seat back. I found these two first because I could just peel it up and take a peek. Once I got this one down, I just followed that up, took a guess and nailed it. Now once we get ready to put it in, I'm just going to heat up a punch. You guys have seen me do that 100 times. And a lot of you guys are starting to use that, and I'm happy to see that. It's going around the interwebs. It's a nice, fast, easy trick to make a perfectly circle in here. It takes 2 seconds. And with carpet and even this, it's going to burn the edges and make it really neat and clean and professional looking, rather than trying to cut holes or jam something around it or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this side fastened down. And then once we get everything put together, we're going to move on to that seat. Jessica got awfully busy. I'll see if I can go grab her. She can finish that up, but I am not sure. Well, the floor in the truck is all done. But here's the thing, it's actually about a week later. You know the deal. I had to fly out of town, get a rig running, do all that. And I'm back. I'm back with the cold. I'm stuffed up, sore throat, body aches, but we're going to fight through it. I think we got to jump on the seat. I got to look through this thing and figure out where we're at. And one of the things we use this truck for, one of the many things, is going to the dump. I don't know if you could tell. Things have accumulated while I've been gone, but let's go through the table here and find all the parts and pieces. Hopefully they're sitting there. Jessica's super busy today. I had intended on her doing the seat because she's a lot better than I am, but I'll get after it and get that covered. I think the holes are burned in there and everything. We could slide that in. And the other good news is, whilst I was gone, I got on the interwebs and ordered the right dash for the truck. So I could pop this one out quick. Actually, let's start there. Let's pop that old dash out. Got another truck that can go in. Put the new one in here, and that'll really doll that up. But then the dash, top dash, front dash, bezel, floor, all of that is done. So we slide the seat in. We've got steering wheel, door panels, handles, stuff like that. And wheels. I got to find those wheels. And the Remington's going to be a going to town rig. Guys, got the old dash popped out here, obviously. And here's the new dash unboxed. And boy, it's just so weird to see these like flexible. You know what I mean? But I need to move these brackets. This is what slides. Well, I'll show you. There's just a tab in here. See these? It hooks underneath, and that's what keeps it from coming up. And then you've got the 4 screws along the bottom and one over here. Anywho's, when these come out, it's hard to get there's a little tang in here. and usually those snap off. So right now I'm testing with self-tappers what length to use that it doesn't protrude on this side. Don't want to wreck a new dash. This length seemed to work. I already got this one off, put it back on. Testing the process there. Popped the heater vents out, nothing broke there thankfully. I'm gonna go throw these in the sink with some Dawn dish soap, hot water, let those cook. And I need to get this little badge, the custom deluxe. This part will stay in the dash, and whatever truck I convert it to, we'll put the right emblem in there. I need the emblem because I did pick up a new piece here. It was like 26 bucks, so let's snag that up, clean that. So let me gently take this apart. We're gonna put this on the shelf, and then I'll reassemble this one and pop it in. You guys will watch me do the dash 54 times. There's nothing to it, slides right in, 4 screws. So give me a minute, I'll get this all assembled and in the rig. New dash is in. A little bit of wrestling, but it went in and did the thing. If you're on a really tight budget and you had to choose between carpet and a dash, do the dash, because it's what you stare at. It's typically what people look at right when they look in or peer through the windows, and what a difference it does make. So now it's time to get to the seat. Huh, buddy? So a guy did pick up a whole new bottom seat foam for this. These are a little spendy, I gotta be honest, but if your seat is really trash, this is just the fastest, easiest way to go, and it's cheaper to do it yourself, obviously. However, I have shown you in the past how you can fix your own foam really cheap, as long as it's not super bad, but you can come in here and cut a section out with a Razor Blade or however, and you can go to places like Hobby Lobby, and they sell foam like in this thickness. They have cubes, blocks, you name it, and you can kind of reconstruct this, glue it in or run some poverty chrome over it, you know, duct tape, put a cover over it, and it's good enough. But this one was so bad, I just went ahead and did this, and it fits pretty good. But of course, we're gonna do the usual. We gotta clean up this old frame first and hit her with some Rebuild Black, you know, bring it around. I don't want all this stuff rusting. It's obviously had some moisture in it. So let's get that taken care of. No sense in recovering it, knowing all this is underneath of it. In fact, this is bad enough we got to spray it with some rust treatment. The top part is pretty good. That's the original foam piece. No concerns here. It's got a little, actually no, those aren't even chunks out. That's the original whenever they poured the foam mold. So that's perfectly fine. So let's spray the frame, clean that up, and then we'll come back and cover the top. And then by then this should be dry and we can get that covered up and do some reassembly. So obviously we're not gonna see any of this once it's in the rig and built. We don't have to worry about it being super smooth. Am I getting pocket change? I need to run to town later, got some gas money. Anywho's, it doesn't need to be smooth and shiny and anything else. We just need to knock all this rust off. So I'm just gonna use a tooth remover and probably a cheek poker and just clean this up a little bit, and then we'll just quick, that's all. This here is a heavily used flap disc. Started life as a 120, and now it's really smooth, so when you run it over metal surfaces, you're not actually taking metal off, it just takes the paint off. It works really good. Always keep your dull ones around. You can use on them later. That's probably why my wife married me. Anyway. She's looking better already. That knocked off quite a bit. Got it around where I could. You know, now we'll get the cheek poker or a wire cup and a drill, and then I can get in here and start getting some of this stuff in the crevasses, around these angles, things like that. Yep! Good enough for who it's for. I need to get one of these out for later. And I'll deal with that later. Okay, we are ready to paint. Let me get a tarp down, some Standalizer 4000s, and we'll. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Got her in the paint booth. Look out, Theodore Roosevelt. You don't want to be around for this. So I'm using some rust converter right now. This won't remove the rust per se, but it's going to slow it down and stop it from spreading, and it's going to convert it to something that paint will adhere to nicely. So I'm going to go around this, get this on, let it dry. It'll turn black, and then we'll come back and completely rebuild this. New welds, all new springs and wires, new lace, everything. And by that I mean, yeah, okay. There we go. Truck may fall apart in 30 years, but the seat frame won't. Great. All right, that's good enough. Ice skating, man down, lane 1. Well, is it dry? Yep, okay, some rebuild black. Bring this thing right back around. And then I'm going to scoot into town, get a hamburger with the old timers, and I'm going to try to find some seat springs that are gonna match this. We're actually missing 3 or 4. And you wanna have some spring for your rumpus, especially when you're a Sasquatch. I could just move, if you're in a pinch, just take a sprinkle out of the passenger side, put them on the captain's side, but I'm gonna try to do this the right way. My boys are typically riding with me in here because we're pulling trailers or doing dump runs or hauling tires or whatever else. Usually have someone riding shotgun over there on the drinker side. Okay. Just gonna lay this on heavy instead of doing multiple coats. There we go. Brand new. Lots of receipts. New old stock. Rebuilding. Rebuilding some more. More rebuilding us-ish. There you go. Rebuild black's like a good friend. They don't judge you how much you use, you know? They just, they hang around. Okay. Oh, gotta get, whoa, easy. Gotta be a praying mantis to get in here, right? Okay, I got the diesel heater cranked on yes. And we're gonna let this just sit. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a wobble pop and we'll get this together. Many moments later, we're back. Hey, the frame looks great. So let's peel this down, throw it up on the table, and start. We got a couple of repairs we got to do, and then we'll start the reassembly and reupholstery process. So guys, got 2 issues going on here. We've got missing springs. As you can see here, they're fairly evenly spaced, but we've got some missing in here. And this is basically like a hammock, right? So when you sit, you obviously go through the foam. This catches it, this basket. But then the springs is ultimately what gives you that cushiony feeling. Well, see how easy, well, you just have to trust me. I'm giving quite a bit of, I mean, look at my hand. I'm giving quite a bit of force here. Over here, nothing. Here, right, we got to fix that. We also have a wire broken. This just kind of keeps them evenly spaced. That's really all that's doing. So let's replace this wire. And then I'm going to take some springs from over here, move them to this side, and then take some springs I got out of a hardware store and put them over here. Now, the wire that I got was very, very cheap, and it's going to work just fine. This right here is professional seat wiring wire. It's about $400 a roll for this. No, it actually looks like it, and it does the same exact thing, except this is actually ceiling grid wire, and it's $14 a roll. Okay, and then I went to the lawnmower section. I got some springs for the old Rumpkus. Can't have the billfold sinking all the way to the floor. That's what we're going to use to fix the seat. Well, the seat is in the truck, and it looks fantastic. That new foam really made a difference, nice and even all the way down. Got the belts back in it. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing to the dash here, and then we're going to move on to the cards. Some call them door panels. So here's one of those dash carpets I was talking about. They make it kind of cozy, and it's an option if you don't want to replace the whole dash, or it's an option to protect your dash if you got a new one like we have here. They go on pretty easy. It's just Velcro strips you cut up essentially, and you just got to make sure to get all the armor all and all the goop off, or use that wipe, and then you just stick part of it to the dash and it sticks to the back. So let's throw this in there. That way a guy's coffee and wobble pops have something to soak into instead of our new dash pad. All right, throw this up here. Now there's a couple areas you want to pay attention to when you do these. You get to the contour. So one is this corner right here, and this side over here. You want them taut. And then you got to start, don't forget the back, and then you're going to want to put a couple along the front here. But I always like to start right here on the captain side, and then we'll move over to the drinker side. I'm going to cut some strips up here. I don't think I own a scissors, so of course we'll just use the old leather person. Some of you might be thinking, what? You're hiding that nice new dash. But for a work truck, these are awesome. I don't have to worry about armor all in it, cleaning it. Like I say, I like to put my coffee cups and wobble pops up here. And, you know, darned if I forget about them every time I turn left. And what ends up happening, as you saw on the old dash, is, well, they like to do this, you know. So maybe the next thing I need to buy is, or find, rather, it's one of those old school igloos. Did I have another strip, or did I already grab it? Sits in the middle. It's got two cup holders and a lid flippy. Okay, now we'll take this wipe. And this dash shouldn't have anything on it, but just make sure it's nice and clean. We're going to put one right here, over here. Maybe tuck one way back there. And you get the gist. Gotta let that dry a second. Start sticking these on. Ha! That one
wood's already not sticking. Perfect. Great. Grand. Raining like cows and parrots out there. Okay, we got some door cards here. Not super happy with the color. We're gonna have 14 different shades of brown going on in there, but it is what it is. Okay, we gotta cut a hole for the window crank. I don't have a pilot bit on this. I'm gonna use a hole bit. This is 1.5 inch metal bit. Seems fine. Speed and conviction is how we can pull this off. Maybe. Come on now. And we'll just do that. How about right there? Sure. Looks window crankage-ish. Got to add a couple clips in. One there. One there. Now we're not doing any, this is a base model truck, so we're not doing any inserts. We don't have power locks, any of that. We don't have a pull. We don't have the handle bezel. So there's really nothing else we need to drill or cut. So we can go slide these on. Boy, the rain's really coming down today, but that's good. I just overseeded the hay field, so it's gonna be nice having this rain. Handle in first. Something goofy going on here. Oh, a rivet's already broke on it. Perfect. Guy can't have nothing nice anymore. Get over that door lock. Yep, there we go. Come on now. Hello? Anybody home? There we go. Now, we gotta line these up. Oh, that one fall out. Okay, that one's in. That one's in. Perfect. That lines up. That lines up. Now we can start running screws through. Get the one behind the door handle. That's got a kind of a button washer, and that'll center everything. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. These screws came in the door panel kit, which is nice. Not having to run sheetrock screws, so they're not like anybody's ever done that. No, I definitely, yes. Oh, they work. Okay, now I need to bring this back. I got my little, there we go. Then, armrest. Which technically there's supposed to be a nut on the back of that, but we're gonna pretend we don't need that. Where'd my bit go? What is going on today? Can't get nothing done around here. Hello? Bit assist. Come here. Where'd you go? Uh-oh. That's gone forever. Never see that again. Here's one. Right on the bench. Okay. Never see that screw again. All right, here's another one. That didn't do anything. There we go. And well, for heaven's sakes, just bite something. Bite into it. Why aren't you biting it? Bite. Okay. Taking it apart again for the 90th time. This one I need to bite because it's going to get shut 58,912 times. Come on. There. We got some bite. Then, biscuit. And I like to plan ahead. I don't like my door cranker handles down when the window's up, because then my leg, when you're resting in the vehicle, is always hitting this knob. So I like to put these forward, both of them. There we go. Ha! Oh. Boop, boop, boop. The crowning jewel. Jewel. And one more right there. Whew. Looking good. Boy, it's starting to look real fancy in here. Got a cowboy Cadillac vibe going, but then you look up here and it's like Rosie O'Donnell's underarms. Just flappy. This is all busted up in here and these are all stuck. So we're gonna fix that. New visors, and I got different rods as well, so we can build some new visors out with new rods, which will have the new spring, and we should be able to lubricate it so the thing actually rotates and does what it's supposed to do. Old ones out, just 3 screws, simple. They have repops obviously, but they're either black or chrome is what I could find. So I went with black, and I think that's going to match better than just having some shiny chrome up there. Rod pushed in, a little bit of grease. We'll see if we can jam her back. Black was the right move. That looks pretty darn good. One more screw. That one did. Ha! Nice. All right, get the other side done. Cross that off. Well, that's much better, and a guy could actually get some sun out of his peepers, you know what I mean? Okay, moving on to the steering wheel here. So again, we're gonna go with an inch smaller wheel, which is gonna give a guy a little more room in here. There's not a lot, especially now that we have foam and it's not the back of a computer chair, a wadded up sweatshirt, 3 gloves, and an old diaper. And the horn button was busted, and this has just got the grime and everything like that. So just need to take the center bolt off, use the steering wheel puller, and then basically you run a bolt down on this. This should pop right off. Do an install kit and get that other wheel put on. Yep. Well, that came off pretty easy, didn't it? It did. Sometimes a guy can just, not this one, we'll bend her in half. We don't want to do that. Okay. See if my brain can figure this out. Brain power. Activate. Whoa. Okay. This can come back. Put that on there. get one of these started, right? There we go. The horn plastic on this is busted, unfortunately. Guy likes a horn, you know, but I ain't got one in this rig. Okay. Easy, steady. You know, life's a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, but sometimes you follow. But don't worry about what you don't know. You'll figure it out, you know? So here we are. Usually just hitting these with sledgehammers and leaning back really hard, but maybe this will actually work. There we go. Boy, I wish this was a tilt truck. Maybe we'll do that in the future. Might even add a tilt column. I might got 3 or 14 laying out in the trees. We can rattle can one and toss it in here. Oh, another chunk of Velcro. You'll go right there. Good job. All right. Oh, never see that again. Oh, never see that again either. Guys, just going through the constructions here, but check this out. I think I got this rigged up in there. I'll be dipped. That'll work. You know, I think no matter how many wheels a feller puts on, you still have to read the constructions on these things. It's like a puzzle. Okay, horn still blows. Okay, covers on, then the wheel. All right. Then I think I need this guy. Let's see. He'll go like that. I think one of these guys. Whoop, 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 hello. Jessica's gonna come running out thinking something's wrong, like my 5th heart attack. Okay, come on now. Come on. Come on now. How about now? Well, there can't be another bolt. There we go. Okay. I think that. Boy, I might have to disconnect the battery. All this tooting and honking going on. Oh, I got this upside down, I think. Do I? I don't even know. Not according to this. Well, how does that? Oh, because that snaps onto this and then brings it out. Yep, sure enough. Okay, all right. Rusty, full of rust. Again, wood, not my first choice. I think a black wheel would have looked good in here, but I like the classic look of the design itself, and I don't really like the, you know, vinyl or pleather wheels because they always seem to roll up and stuff. Oh, hey, Theodore Roosevelt. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? Hmm? Did you come check on me? I was tooting the horn too much, or what? I think you were supposed to put that nut on first. Yeah, the steering wheel nut. What'd you do with it? Did you already eat your treats, Theodorable? Hmm? Now watch out, this might scare you. Oh, go get me an extension. Okay, and then we run this puppy down. Okay, then run these bad boys down. Okay. Toot toot. All right. Now, I think we need a spring. Yeah. And the cap. Yeah, you probably supposed to unhook the battery. Well, what did I do? How come I can't turn this? Well, for heaven's sakes. Maybe it's not a twist. I don't want to break it now. Well, I guess it's just going to be crooked. That's going to bother me though, and it shouldn't. But it does. There we go. Gumption, persistence, customization. Pow, pow, pow. Whoop, extra part. Don't worry about that. Give you kind of a sense from the inside here. All nice and clean. It's going to get dirty again, but you know, we don't really have to worry about it. Basic door panels, we can always recover the seat in another 5 to 10 years. Rubber floor, you know, epoxy paint. This is all spray paint and bottle paint. You don't have to worry about using the thing. And that's the big value for me, just doing this stuff on the cheap, is you can use a truck like a truck. And it looks great. Okay, the last thing a guy wants to do before we put this back to work is change these wheels. Again, I love these wheels, but I can't get them balanced. And I use this truck a lot. It's just annoying. So I'm gonna take these off, we'll put them on a shelf. Maybe I could send them to some wheel expert or something. I have to mill them or true them up, I'm not really sure. But I found something absolutely incredible. I have never actually owned a pair of these. I've never seen one in person. They're legendary. Let me grab one. Got a little story time for you. And then we gotta knock these off, take these tires off, wrap them on these different wheels, put them back on the truck. Got one of them right here in this box. Now I have no affiliation or anything like that. I just wanted to tell you a fun story about these wheels and why I geeked out about them and had to have them. A guy named Harry, I guess it would have been late 60s, made some steel wheels for his off-road buggies and things like that. And he was an off-road enthusiast. And some of his friends started wanting some, and this guy wanted some, and that guy wanted some. And 1974, he says, I gotta make a business if I'm gonna be doing this. He was building them in his backyard. So he did. And by 1978, he made over $4 million slinging steel wheels, which is equivalent to like low $20 million today. They took a hiatus for a while, but they're actually back, and you could get these new if you wanted to. But this is an original OG late 70s, early 80s wheel, which fits this truck perfectly. Now these were in really tough shape. But I found a feller that did some powder coating out of his garage at his house. He acid dipped them, blasted them, and powder coated them for me. And I am talking about the legendary Jackman wheels. Check these things out. They are absolutely incredible. 8-spoke, wide as can be, and these are in really good shape. One of them has a little bit of pitting on it, but this is going to completely transform Remington once again. I can't wait to get these things on. They are beefy. The new ones are laser cut and they're engraved. This also has a little J for the Jackman symbol on it, but I think the new ones are a little bit bigger. But anywho, some ways, this is what we're going to be going with, and we're going to be using balance beads to try to get this thing not to be death shaken. So let's knock these old wheels off. Let's just start in the front because see what these look like on the truck. Power slide! Nailed it! Oh, I'm leaking something. What are you leaking, Remington? What are you doing that for? Looks like power steering. I'm not sure though. Oh, my badge done falled off in the front. Huh. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I'm gonna run out of jack. Oh, I think I might have. Uh-oh. See? I didn't realize this thing sat so tall. One at a time. There we go. Boy, my back's about 1,000 degrees. Get some heat over here. Crying in the mud. Yep. Uh-oh. I need some different lug nuts. Didn't even think about that. Gulp. I thought these were conical seat. They're not. They're specific to the turbine. Velocities, or whatever these are. Yeah, that's right. Gotta put brand new brakes on there. Rotor, wheel bearings, caliper, shoes. Woof. Guy got it rassled on here. Let's see if we can spoon it up. Come on now. Come on now, be good. Be good. Plug it in there. Here we go. We need power. Okay, let's try it again. Here we go. Nope, doesn't like it. Did not like that. Jammed up bad. Bad jam. Bad. I was worried about that. My wish.com machine here just... I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off. Might have to run this into my buddy's shop. He's got real life stuff. Where's my... There it is. Give her another go. I don't want to tear this wheel up. Oop. Come on now. Nope. I ain't gonna do it. Just ain't gonna do it. Well, Now if I can get this back off, I'll have to put these in the Deer Max, run them into town. Ain't got time for that monkeying around. Oh, yeah, we got her jammed up good, fellers. Jammed up real good. Well, just get, I don't want to ruin my tire. Them ain't cheap. Get off! Get off of there! I'm gonna go make some soup. Hungry. Boy, this side was really crusty. Just been using a paint scraper and taking all this stuff out, getting the grease zerks back out. Once the paint's dry, we'll go ahead and grease this up as well. Bezel, we're in here, but all this stuff has to come out so we can prep it. This is all from that compressor. In fact, you can see the old bracket. There was a air compressor in there for the service bed back in the day, and it obviously leaked a lot of oil. But anyway, this is kind of a before. Here's an after. Prepped, rubber coated. Control arms painted with rebuild black. That's 400 degree. Same with the hub, because that stuff gets hot, you know. But that center hub will be black for now, and then probably end up doing a chrome one. We got to do the same exact thing all the way around the rig. Well, ran to town, picked up the lug nuts that I ordered. I think we got enough. And the paint is dry. This is the moment I have been waiting for a very, very long time. Also, do you guys want the option for long sleeve work shirts again instead of the short sleeve? If you're really in it deep, grease and oil and stuff like that, or the weather, these are handy, I'll tell you that much. Woo! Missed by like 13 feet. Anyway, I got you way back there. Just stay put so you can get the overall view when I roll this Jackman on here. Went down and helped my buddy put these on at his tire shop. His machine had a little more gusto than my Timu one. Oh, these are heavy. Get one seated so it doesn't want to move. Yeah, I can already tell that was the deal, and I didn't even have to get up. Just break the wrist and walk away. Tell you what, next time a guy comes out of the co-op, there's going to be 16 ranchers doing this. Going, golly, them's brand new wheels? I said, no, this is painted up, you know. That, well, I can never sell this truck, I guess. That does it for me, conviction. Okay, got to throw the other ones on. I'm still going to search for some center caps. But the black for now, that's going to do its thing and also keep that from rusting anyway. So, boy, does that look good. Guy can't really see the whole thing,
So let's run this down to the dump. I got to take care of the stuff in the back anyway. Drive this over to the homestead and really snag our peepers into this thing. I think it's going to look great. Well, Remington, the service truck, now farm truck, looks absolutely fantastic. This thing is a head turner and it's a workhorse, and that's my favorite part. I'm not afraid to use this thing. I could throw T-posts in the back, haul fertilizer, hook a trailer on it, door ding the thing at a gas station, get it muddy, and guess what? It's tractor paint. There's nothing special about it. It's time investment, it's attention, it's a love for automobile. It's model paint and spray paint and parts and pieces and elbow grease, and that's virtually it. And there's a few messages that I've been trying to drive home for years here that I've personally been doing for, I think, going on 25 years now. Guys getting long in the tooth. And this is a perfect example. It is absolutely unrealistic to finish your project or have everything for your project overnight or all at once. Quite frankly, that would be a scripted TV show. They're out there. That would be someone willing to go into credit card debt. It happens. But listen, this truck is beautiful and I'm proud of it, but look where it started. This was an old service truck sitting on a farm. I got her fired up, drove it home. I was happy. Great old work truck. Then I thought, well, let's shoot some tractor paint on this thing. Weekend later, it's looking pretty snazzy. And now, creature comforts. We got a new interior in it. Well, new. And we changed the wheels, and we've done some small things like brakes and stuff like that. And now it's a really solid, reliable truck, but guess what? It did not happen overnight. It's going to take time. And I've been saying something for the last 20 plus years. They won't work unless you do. So get out there, do anything. Start by taking all the junk off the roof, for Pete's sake. Clean it up, make a list, prioritize some things. One piece at a time, you're going to get your project on the road. Thanks guys for watching, appreciate you so very much, and stay tuned. We have some great content coming. Remember my dear friend Roger's La Sabre that I got running with my then little guy Bentley? Guess what? It's back. 13 million views later. We're going to get that thing on the road and cleaned up once again. Thanks again, guys. See you soon.